On the 30th of May 1942, the London War Cup final between Brentford and Portsmouth was staged at Wembley, with a crowd of nearly 70,000, the largest ever to witness a Brentford game, seeing the Bees run out winners by 2-0. It was, of course, at the height of the war, and many of the vast crowd were in uniform. This old footage from Pathé News starts by showing the teams coming out, with Brentford being led by the legendary manager Harry Curtis, followed by skipper Joe James, and then keeper Johnny Jackson, George Poyser, Bill Brown, Eddie Perry, Doug Hunt, Leslie Smith, George Wilkins, Duncan Mackenzie, and Di Hopkins. Here, James is shown introducing the First Lord of the Admiralty, Mr. A.V. Alexander, to his players, and the Portsmouth skipper Guthrie does likewise. The long-distance shot gives little idea of the play, except showing the mass crowds, but the long-distance view of Guthrie's tame penalty, saved by Jackson, can be seen. Also the crowd in different forms of uniform. Mr. Alexander appears to be followed by the Arsenal manager George Allison in the second shot of the lineup. And here, the captains have the traditional toss of the coin, being spun by Joe James. The ball being retrieved for one of the Brentford goals, and here is Smith trying to set up another. Eddie Perry chases. Little coherence about these pictures. Jackson makes a good save, and Poyser kicks clear. Jackson again in action this time. It's Brown to the rescue. Another Pompey raid goes adrift, and although they appear to be showing all the play around the Brentford goal, the Bees had more than their fair share of attacking. Now we pan to George Wilkins holding up Joe James, with George Poyser, Tally Snadden and Duncan Mackenzie either side of him. And now they are parading the cup around the ground. The little girl holding it is in fact Joe James' daughter Beryl, who we have had the pleasure of seeing at Griffin Park in recent years. Here is the traditional lineup and kickoff. That's Poyser to the rescue for Brentford. And Jackson again saves and kicks left-footed clear. An improvement in the quality of pictures now. Here is the penalty, hit very tamely by Guthrie, so that Jackson has an easy save, and he incidentally had saved Cliff Baston's penalty in the semi-final. The Bees kick off for the second half, 1 up at that time. And veteran supporter Eric White is in there somewhere. You'll notice the complete absence of advertising hoardings. I don't know why the cameraman seems to concentrate entirely on Portsmouth, who were perhaps the favourites to win. Here's Wilkins breaking for Brentford, and the cameraman concentrated so hard that he didn't really get either of the Brentford goals. And now the cup is about to be presented to Joe James. Watch what happens. He takes the cup, and the great horror, and then amusement. That's George Poyser, right behind him, deciding he will get the plinth. Bill Brown comes directly behind him, then young Leslie Smith, who scored both goals. Here they come down the steps. James, Poyser, Brown, Smith, Mackenzie, Wilkins, Snedden, Jackson, Hunt, and Perry. The following week, Brentford met Wolves, who had won the Northern Cup at Stamford Bridge in a 1-1 draw to see who was, in effect, the overall cup winners. Brentford making one change because Snedden wasn't fit. Ernie Collett came in on loan from Arsenal, and he scored the only goal. On the 30th of October,